Hi friends, it's Deanna here, and today we're going to be working on the Be Captivating. I am going to be doing the top, but really to do the dress, you would just attach the skirt, so I kind of will tell you how to do that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do the top so that we can get it done and realize how easy it really is. It does seem kind of scary because it's a crossover bodice, but it is not scary at all. It is a fully lined bodice, so that's really great. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and that's it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I already have my fabric cut out. I have my sleeves. I'm doing a long sleeve. Here's another one. And then I have my liner fabric for my top and my outer fabric. And I am so excited because this is such a great top for like dressing up. So like I love making like the different like tops that are the Discover, sorry, I couldn't think of the word, the Discover or the favorite tee or things like that for like around the house and whatnot. But I love, well, I'm going out, but I just wanted to make this top because it's kind of really cute and kind of more fancy. So this is exciting. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and grab our bodices. So here's my back bodice and here's my front bodice. And we're gonna do this same thing to the, well, there's two of the front, but we're gonna do the same thing to my liner. So we're gonna show you, I'm gonna show you my outer and we're gonna do the same thing to the liner. Sorry, my hair is on my face. So anyway, when we're gonna attach, first we're gonna attach the shoulder seams to put the bodices together. Now you wanna make sure that you grab the right, you attach it to the right side. So like you wanna make sure here is the, like your armsicle. You wanna make sure you match that with the armsicle on your front because you don't wanna put it on the wrong side and then be like a crisp, weird shirt. It won't work. So you wanna put it on the right side. So we're doing shoulders matching the raw seams of the shoulders. Raw edges of the shoulders, and we're gonna go ahead and sew them together. And like I said, we're gonna do this to the top, and we're also gonna do this to the, to the outer, and we're gonna do it to the liner. So here's my liner face up, and my front face down right on top of it. Right sides together. On this double brush poly that is pink. Bright pink. You can't really tell which one's the right or wrong side, but you kind of can. The more you get to know double brush poly, the more you get to know your fabric, the easier it is to know what the front and back is. I know I get a lot of questions on how you can tell. When you open it up and you look at it, the back looks fuzzier than the front. The front doesn't look as fuzzy, and you can see the lines, the grain line a little bit better on the front than you do on the back. I think it's more brushed, so I don't know, that kind of helps me a little bit, but it is really, you have to get to know your fabric. So now we're going to go ahead and attach those sleeves, those shoulder seams, actually, not sleeves, those are just the shoulder seams. And I'm going to be doing that to both, like I said, a liner and outer. So I'm doing that. And I was wondering, debating what color thread to use because this is like a bright blue and pink, and I don't have this color thread for my serger. So I went ahead and I'm just using gray. I figured that's like a, whatever tone. So I'm going to do neutral, that's what I meant, a neutral tone. So I'm going to do gray. And you really can't see it because it's lined. So I'm hoping it's going to be all right. I usually try to go with the closest color to my fabric, or usually I stick with like a taupe color, like a beige color. So that's what I usually do. But anyway, so now we're going to do put the, ooh, that was weird. I'm like, what's going on? The pin's still there. Now we're gonna put the bodice front and the bodice liner and outer together. Now, being that this is the top, I'm sorry, it's gonna be the same for the dress and the top. So here's my bodice. Here's the front, and here's my neckline right here. So I'm just putting my liner. You can put your liner or your outer face up on your mat. So I'm putting it all face up. Now I'm gonna grab my other one, and I'm gonna put it face down right on top of it. And first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna match where those shoulder seams are, both of the shoulder seams. Now remember, face down, right sides together. So they're touching, the right sides are touching. And I'm pinning all the way down here at the neck, and then I'm pinning all the way down. Now this is the crossover front, like this is where that crosses over right here. So it's not the bottom, it's the top. This is where that front is. And so I am meeting the raw edges, and I'm going to pin and sew. I was trying to figure out what to use for a liner, and then I remembered I had this shocking bright pink, and it kind of matches the color of the flowers, if you can see on my actual outer fabric. So I'm like, this is really neat. And then sometimes when I'm sewing this top, when I steam it, I like to leave a little bit of the, kind of like the edge of the outer, you can kind of see it poke out a little bit. And I love that because then you can see the pop of color that's underneath it. I don't know, I just like that. But anyway, okay, so now that I pinned it all, we're gonna go ahead and sew that whole raw edge together. And before I do that, let me go ahead and, I should have done this first. My iron, plug it in, because we're gonna wanna give it a really, really good steam once we get it together. All right, there you go. Now you saw my closet. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and sew those two edges together, making sure you grab them both. Like I said, I've said before, I don't know if I said it already today, I like to put my pins kind of farther in the fabric when I'm going to serge, so that way I don't have to remove them, because obviously you cannot serge over your pins. But when they're too close to the edge, I do remove them. So that's why sometimes you see me sewing without moving my pins, because I place them far enough away that they won't get stuck on my machine. Now sometimes I place them real close, so I move them. Just be careful with that. You don't want a pin cut underneath there, and first of all, hurt you because it comes flying out, the head or the pin part, or to hurt your machine. That would be sad. All right. So yeah, I placed them a little bit farther away, farther down from where I'm gonna be serging, and then that way I don't have to remove every single pin as I'm going. I just like to do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over, and I'm going to steam it. Look at how cool. Okay, so let's start up here. Now, what I was saying about the touch of color is, if you want to, sometimes when I steam it, I will fold it up a little bit like this, so it pokes out a little bit on the edge. So this is up to you. I do just a tiny bit, not enough to make a difference, oh gosh, no, just probably the seam, the serged little seam. It's just really, really tiny, but it I like it. I do that with my hoodies too. When I sew my hoodies on and I'm top stitching the hoodies, I do that too. And now, if you wanted to top stitch, you can. I am not top stitching. I've said before, whenever I make dressy tops, I don't like a lot of top stitching, because I like the more feminine look of just the soft edge. But I think it does look pretty sometimes with top stitching. So really it's up to you. That's just my preference. Just like this is my preference, doing that little thing. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the back and we've got here, we have our wraparound front. See that? So cute. This is gonna be so beautiful. Okay, so now that we did that, we're gonna go ahead and do, let me move my iron out of the way so it doesn't fall on top of me. We're going to do our sleeves. Okay, now if you're doing the dress, this is the same steps, just the bodice is gonna be shorter. So you're not gonna have all this fabric. You're gonna be like, oh, that's a lot of fabric she's got going on over there. Yes, I have a lot longer fabric because it's the whole torso. With the dress, it comes to right here, and then you attach the skirt. But with the bodice, I mean with the top, it's kind of nice. It brings it all the way down already. So you don't have to add anything to the top if you're just making the top. With the dress, you will just add the skirt. So okay, I've got my, here's my armsicle, and I've got both my liner and my outer together, because you're going to be attaching the sleeve to both of them. So what I did is I just marked the top of my sleeve, and what I do is I do a little notch with my scissors, and it's just small enough that it will come off when I sew, when I serge over it. But I just like to do that because that's how I like to mark. Now you can just put a pin on there or a clip. It's really up to you. I just like to notch it because I'm always worried that my pin is gonna come off, or and then I'm gonna lose my spot. So that always helps me. Feel like it's easy to do. All right, so I'm pinning all the way around. Now I'm gonna do this to this one sleeve, and then I'm gonna show you, and then we're gonna do it to the other sleeve as well. So I'm just gonna sew that raw edge right there where the sleeve goes. And we're just making sure that you're sewing all three seams. You do not wanna just sew the one or two and then you have a gap. So you always wanna make sure you're sewing all three seams. So take it slow, take your time, match them up. Make sure that your other part of your your top is not coming under. Sometimes, I did that the other day. I was making a dress and I was attaching, well actually that was the ruffle, but anyway, I was attaching and my other piece of fabric came under. And guess what? I ended up with a stinking hole in my dress. So we don't want to do that. All because I wasn't paying attention and I was trying to go real fast. So I was trying to make it before I left. So I ruined it. But we don't want to do that. So anyway, here's my sleeve put on. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other sleeve, do the same thing to the other sleeve, and then we'll come back and we'll move on to the next step. All right, friends, my sleeves are on, so we're moving on to putting the bodice together. Now I have laid my bodice face up. Here's my back, right here, and I'm lined it up. So here's my liner is already in there, underneath it, and it's face up, okay? So now I'm gonna grab the one side. Now remember, if you're doing the dress, this is gonna be shorter. But if you're doing the top, it's gonna be longer, obviously, because it's just straight, okay? So here's my one side, here's my top where the crossover is. I'm bringing that top right over. And what I'm going to do is meet the raw edges. So let me show you right here. Here's my armpit seam and here's my bottom seam. Here's my top where my crossover is. So I'm gonna go ahead and meet it over here first at the bottom. Make sure all the fabrics are together. Now, this step right now is we're going to go ahead, and I am going to do it because sometimes I don't. Hold on, let me tell you what this is. So we're gonna place it right on top. We'll start at the hem and place it up, just like this. Raw edges together on the side. So this is the one side, see? Because it goes like, shoop, right here. Anyway, this step is the basting step, and I don't like to baste very much sometimes, I am a risk taker and I go ahead and go for it. But I will say that you probably should go ahead and baste this on. That way when you sew the sides together, it does not move. Because when you come back to sew the sleeves and the whole thing together, if you don't baste, it might move. And then you will have, it won't be straight. It will be all wiggly. Because then you're gonna place this on top, the front part. You see that? The front part is gonna be, the other front is gonna be placed right on top of it. So you'll have a lot of layers. So we're gonna go ahead and pin that and baste. And let me do that to the other side. So here's the other side. Here's my front already there. And there it is. And you can go ahead and baste that on. Because then when you attach the other one, these layers are already basted on, so they won't move, if that makes any sense. I think it does make sense, but I hope it makes sense to you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and baste this first layer on. Baste the layer front first, the front fold over first, so then when I go to put the second layer on to actually sew it on, then I'll have a lot of layers, so you don't want them to move around, you know, and come apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a basting stitch just right here and on the other side, and then I'll put my top on top and I'll serge all the way, but I'll show you that. So let me go ahead and do the basting stitch. Now basting stitch, what I'm doing is I'm just doing the longest stitch, just a long stitch on my long straight stitch on my machine that I can pull off after I'm done serging it together. So I hope that, you know, I know you know that, but yeah. All right, now that my sides are basted on, I just want to make sure that everything matches up. So I'm going to put the other side right on top, starting at the bottom again. Now if you wanted to, you can top stitch this step as well, but I just wanted to top stitch that one side, that one layer, because I wanted to make sure that stayed on. So I think this is good. But now I am going to go ahead and match up the raw edges all the way down my sleeve. So I'm matching up right here where my armpit is, and I'm going all the way down my sleeve, matching that raw edge together. Now on my sleeve, obviously you only have 2 pieces of fabric, the front and the back, but when you get to your bodice, you'll have 4. You'll have the liner and the outer for the front. No, you'll have more than 4. Let me count, okay, you have the outer and the liner for the outer liner for the back. You have the outer liner for the crossover, and then the outer liner for the side. So it will be crossover, front, and back. So you'll have like 6 layers. So you have to be careful when you're sewing it together and go slow because you don't want them to come apart. That is the reason why we base stitch. So now we're just gonna go ahead and sew that side together. And I didn't put my pins far enough in. See, this one's not far enough in either. What was I thinking? All right, so here we go to the side, and I want to make sure that everything is in. And this is the reason why it's so good to baste those fabrics. My serger's probably wondering what in the world is going on with all of this. Yes, so I want to make sure they're all in. And then when I sew that up, now all I need to do is pull that stitch out, that basting stitch out, and it'll that's it. That's all I do with that. So but that way it helped me to stay straight, and it helped me not to lose that side. This basting stitch is giving me a hard time coming out, but anyway, so I'm pulling it out. So that's what you do. Now I didn't do the other side yet, so let me go ahead and sew up that other side. Same thing. Let's start this way since I put the pins that way. Make sure you've got all your layers in there. They're nice and pinned together. Down the sleeve. And you know the great thing about doing the crossover top and running crossover top is that now we don't have to worry about a neckband or anything. It's done. So now my top is done. All I need to do is hem it. I'm going to turn it around and show you. My top, it's done. I do need to remove that basting stitch, but my top is done. Look at it. How cute is it? And I don't know if you can tell, if you can kind of see the little bit of the lining. Like I told you, I like to kind of poke it out a little bit right there. But there we go. This is, I did the higher neckline, so you'll see when I put it on, it's a little bit higher on the crossover, but there are two necklines on this pattern, so you can do the lower neckline if you'd like. And then now my top is done because it's a longer top. But on the when I'm doing the dress, all you have to do now is at the raw edge, we grab the dress front and the back, and we put them right sides together. So I would grab the front and the back and put it right sides together and pin the sides. So we'll pin the sides and serge the sides together for a continuous circle, kind of like a band. And then we would grab the bodice, and I would find here's the two edges, that's the halves, and then I would find the quarters right down the middle and do the same thing to your skirt, find the quarters. Then you will fit your skirt right sides together with the bodice. So I'm gonna put my skirt inside my bodice, right sides together, and I'm gonna sew the raw edge, the top raw edge, to the raw edge of my bodice, right sides together, and that's it. That's all you have to do to make it a dress. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hem my sleeves and my bottom of my dress, my shirt, and then I'll take a picture for you guys because I know you love to see it on. And that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sew along. I hope you liked it. I know it's looking kind of funky right now because I need to take that basting stitch off. It makes it all weird. But I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot easier than you probably thought, because it does seem kind of hard, you know, like the crossover bodice. The first time I ever made it, I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And then I was. And that's the great thing about sewing. You know, sometimes you are a little bit scared and you think you can't do it, and then you come along and you jump right into it, and then you end up with a beautiful garment. And it's so rewarding. I hope I made the journey a little bit easier for you. If you have any questions, please comment below. Let me know. I'd like to help you. Whenever you finish your top, please show us on our Instagram or Facebook page. The link is below. And if you're not part of that community, the Facebook or Instagram community, come join us. We love to have you. We have such an uplifting community. We love seeing everybody's makes. And if you have any questions, we have tons of people in there that help answer any questions. But if you have not, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see all our other sews. And please like, comment, and share. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!